Now, let's have a huge round of applause for our first headline act. Hey, Stephen England, everybody! Now, Stephen is an accountant who's worked with over 1,000 business owners across the UK, helping them develop their companies for over 35 years. And he's only 36. He's here tonight to highlight a significant barrier to business growth. So get your pens and paper out with a speech entitled, Where Are You? And Where Do You Want to Be? Hey, Stephen England, everybody!
Who likes money? It's not real. Money's not real. Most of us strive our lives in pursuit of money, but it's not real. Rich people say it'll never make us happy, but it doesn't stop us. The companies we work for still aren't real. Money is a promise. It actually demonstrates our faith in the promise from the government, from banks, from the company directors that we work for. But it's based on trust. It's not real. Sometimes you think, what are you working for? And on this particular day, about 10 years ago, I was feeling a bit fed up. Don't know why I was fed up, because I just bought myself a new Maserati. It was great car, you know, but I was a bit fed up. So I go and see my dad. I go and see my dad because he's got a handbag factory. He manufactures handbags. And I always think that a man that knows about handbags knows about life. So I went to see him, and he says to me, what's up with you? I said, nothing. So he says, you seem a bit miserable. And I said, well, I'm not miserable. I'm maybe a bit fed up, or, you know. But he said, well, what's up with you? So I said, I don't know. Nothing seems to have any meaning to me. It doesn't seem to have any purpose. I just go through life drifting. And he goes, oh, you know, how old are you? So at the time, I was 47. So he goes, yeah, you're 47. And he says, do you know what? When I was your age, I felt exactly the same thing. I said, oh, what did you do about it? And he said, nothing. I still feel like that. And that's my dad. Anyway, it got me thinking about what these rich people say, that money doesn't make you happy. You know, hopefully some of us will actually be able to come to that conclusion ourselves. And I thought, well, it doesn't make us happy, and it certainly doesn't give us any purpose. So I did a lot of research into this, and I spent 5 minutes on Google. And Google came back to me, and Google said, you know, businesses and people that have purpose can do up to 500% better than those companies that don't. So I've spent my life in pursuit of money. I mean, they say that pursuing your ego, pursuing your wallet, and pursuing anything that opens a zipper isn't a great purpose. I mean, it can be a great driver. And even though my dad said he doesn't have any purpose, he does. Because what my dad does, he likes to manufacture handbags. But he likes to manufacture the handbags out of waste material. So he gets a lot of this rubbish, this waste cloth, from the clothing industry, not bag industry, that's what he makes, from furniture industries, and he repurposes them. He can sort of see the value in the cloth, otherwise it'd be thrown away. And he gets his satisfaction from producing handbags out of it. I mean, you might have seen some handbags that years ago, they used to have like a patchwork leather front. That was my dad recycling waste leather from the jacket manufacturing businesses. Then there was a guy that I used to deal with, well, about 10 years ago, another 10 years ago. His name was Mike, and he had a little garage in Kent, the other side of Kent. And the guy was 77 years old. And he used to come in to work every morning into his garage, but the garage had a bed in it, and he lived in the garage. It actually had a tree growing through the roof. 77 years old. And I was called in because he hadn't put any tax returns into HMRC for quite a long time. You know, some people are exempt from paying tax and putting tax returns in. Oh, that was a joke. But so I had to go and sort that out. You know, death and taxes. You know, you can prove death, but you know everyone always has to pay taxes. You know, everyone dies, but no, I'm talking wrong then. Right, forget this one. I'm tying myself up. But when I went to see him, he was rebuilding model Bugattis. That's another very posh car. And his attitude, what kept him going, what got him up in the morning, was the fact that he believed that God wanted these cars on the road. So he went through all this hardship to actually get these cars up on the road. And that's great. But is it purpose? Is this actually purpose, or is it just a reason to get out of bed and get into work? And I think it is, because when we look at what Google has to say, purpose drives everybody else. I mean, has anybody tried to organise or get their teenage son or daughter to tidy their bedrooms? You know, the problem only comes about because they've got a different focus in life. They've got a different mission. But try and organise 6 people to do anything. Can we organise 60 people or 6,000 people? But millions of people across the ages and across the world have built amazing cities. They've gone out and fought wars with people they don't know anything about because they believed in a higher purpose, whether that's God or whether it's a king or whatever it is they've done, they've believed in a higher purpose. So purpose is absolutely wonderful. Purpose gets you going. I've got a client, she's a lovely lady. Her and her husband run a business repairing sprinkler systems. And they had a problem because they couldn't get staff to get to work. They were unreliable. People, this was their main problem. They had plenty of business. They mainly worked for schools, but the staff were unreliable. I don't know if any of you have ever suffered through unreliable staff. I've never met anyone like that, but that's what was going on. And when I was talking to them, I was like, what do you do? And they're saying, well, we sort of repair maintenance systems, sprinkler systems for schools. And I'm saying, so what you're actually doing is protecting children. And all of a sudden, people start getting behind that. Members of staff thought, well, I better get into school today because some kids might suffer if I'm not there. So it takes time for a purpose to develop. And the best way to develop a purpose is to talk about it and get it out there. Because if you get your purpose out there, you don't actually have to sell product or go driving employees or suppliers mad to do what you want them to do. And this is the sort of area that I've come to, because you say, well, what's my purpose? And I've come to a few purposes, different purposes in life, because it's always been about chasing money. And chasing money can take you the wrong way. And like I say, if it's about a zipper or a wallet or ego, it's not always, you don't always do the right things. I mean, I've got an ex-client, I'm glad to say, where we prepared his accounts and we found a payment into the bank of £10,000, but there was no invoice for it. So we asked him where the money came from. And he said, well, it's just an invoice he's not put in. About a week later, we had the police down. It turns out that £10,000 was a payment to go and assassinate his customer's wife. He didn't even do it. He got his driver to go and do it, and the driver botched it up. Now, if the guy would have had any purpose or passion behind this, maybe he'd have done it right, but the driver bugged it up, and that's the end of that one. But sorry, it is actually a true story. It wasn't pleasant at the time because we had the police all over, like, well, why didn't you spot that £10,000? And we did, and but now we know, even if it's illegal activities, it's still taxable. No, it is. It is. There's, I won't get into the story about how the tax people act, but then you say, well, so what's my purpose in life? Well, a little bit like my dad, he looks at cloth, waste cloth, and he sees where it can be. He sees what you can do. And I look at businesses sometimes. I look at business owners, and I think, there's an idea there. Why aren't you seeing it? Why don't you refocus the way you're seeing things? And we've had some pretty good results. So that's my purpose. That's what I like doing. You don't need to be lying in a hospital bed. You don't need to be lying on the streets. You don't need to be anywhere to gain purpose. I'm not talking about spiritual purpose. I'm talking about business purpose. There is a slight difference, although it is only a slight difference. And to go out there and show people the way that they can make money and achieve all their dreams through their businesses is very easy. I've done this Speak course. I've worked with Josh to do this, to give me a voice and to put together, and I have done, a team of people across the country, 3 of them, and they're going to go out and they're going to be dealing with small businesses, helping them see the potential in the business. And potential starts with vision, it starts with purpose. Who wouldn't get behind saving children's lives, helping children, protecting children? Everybody would. But who's interested in going and paying someone to repair the sprinkler system? You know, and this has become my purpose, and this has become, it's not a passion because purpose grows. You don't just wake up one morning and think, I've got purpose. You've got to develop it. So how do you develop purpose? Well, good purpose comes from helping the community. It doesn't have to be world changing, it helps the community. So if you look, I know a lot of you aren't in business, but if you look at what you do yourselves, that helps other people, even if it's only helping people around you. What is it that you do that actually helps people? Focus on that and do it more and more and more. And that will grow and it'll expand and people will get behind it. And before you know it, loads of people will get behind it and you've got a company. Because bear in mind, you all work for companies. So the more you buy into that purpose, the more effort you will put in. You won't need incentives to get into work. You won't need incentives for strong time management because it will just be what you need to do. You need to get it done. So I'm Stephen Englander, and I'm an accountant. Oh, sorry, that's a different course. But you've all got my emails. If you want to discuss a business idea, just contact me. Thank you. Oh, I've got a minute to go. Changed it a bit.